I just have one thing to say. Hang on here.
You could have subscribed to any other YouTube channel, but you chose to subscribe here. So, hit that notification, hit that like button, and tune in with Adrian and Glib Talk. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's Glib. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's Glib. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk, it's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk, it's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk, it's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk. Let's all get right on the late night with a little discussion or a heated debate on sports, news, current events. Glib Talk is where you gotta tune in for facts and different opinions. This is Glib Talk, hosted by Adrian, who will dissect the dichotomy of the fake news by its views. Trying to get to the truth, or we could just shoot the shit. We all trolls in his, that's why the chat stay lit. In the live stream where everyone clowns, let off a little steam. So go ahead and smash the like button. You can subscribe to the page, turn on the notification for the live stream, and upload updates. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's Glib. Using your platform.
Mic check, mic check.
I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk, it's Glib Talk, Glib
Okay,
Talk,
this thing's working.
Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk, it's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk. I hope you enjoy enjoyed tonight's show. If you are a first-time viewer, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit all the damn buttons. Hit every button over there. What's up, good people? Thanks for clicking on the play button. My name is Adrian. This is Glitch Talk, and it's been 3 days. We still surviving. We still holding on. Trump hasn't destroyed everything just yet, but he definitely is doing his part to try to usher in this new era of. I'm not sure exactly what it is that he's trying to do, right? Other than to say, if you thought that equality and equity and fairness in our society was missing, well, then it's back. He brought it back. If you thought that, things were unfair before because considerations had to be given to others, well, fear not. The others will no longer have to be considered. So we're back to a society where you don't have to explain anything of why you did it. You can do whatever you want. And if anyone questions you, just say it's because I was more comfortable with this one than that one, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, social status, gender, or other. But that's cool, though, because none of those things are really that important because they don't really necessarily impact me directly. So I'm just going to say I'm doing okay, whatever decision he makes for right now. So it doesn't impact me. So if I make decisions like that going forward, I guess we'll all be okay because I'll do what's best for me. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe it'll make more sense after I get into this. This is the Trump administration is the absolute circus, as you could probably imagine, and they're not even trying to hide it. With Donald Trump back in the White House, we're already off to a train wreck of a start. But Elon Musk during the victory celebration, and in his exuberance and excitement for Trump, he can do what only can be described as the Hail Hitler salute to the crowd. Now, I'm sure everyone's seen it by now, and maybe has heard the explanation of why Elon Musk thought and believed that doing a Hail Hitler salute to the crowd was the right thing to do. Elon Musk, the billionaire, the owner of Twitter, throwing up the salute, and he's wondering why people say they don't want to engage in his X. Why people are leaving it in droves. Why the value of it has dropped. Because he's, in my opinion, just showing his hand. The dog whistle has been blown, and we know who he's blowing it for. When asked what the hell he was doing when he was throwing up the salute, his explanation was he was just throwing out his heart to the people. That's right. He was throwing out his heart to the people like he was doing performative dance, like he was on Dancing with the Stars or he was performing Swan Lake. This wasn't a heartfelt gesture. This was an arm cannon aimed straight at history's darkest chapters. But let's pretend Elon's heart just happens to look suspiciously like fascist symbolism. I mean, before we could even digest that, my cousin called me, right? Because my cousin, he voted for Trump. He voted for Trump. And, so when these things happen, I like to just post stuff that kind of maybe, it pings them. It says, hey, this is the guy you voted for. He calls me, right? And he's like, yo, Adrian, you think that Elon and Trump are white supremacists? And I'm like, do I think they're white supremacists? I was like, I don't know what's in their heart, right? I don't know what's in their heart, but I know what the gesture means. I know what the gesture means. The gesture is a dog whistle. That gesture is a dog whistle, right? It's not a dog whistle. It's an air horn. This is a giant sign. No one can mistake what that means. He's telling the people who understand what that sign means, we see you, we got you. The same way Trump said with the Proud Boys. Oh, I don't know who they are, but they should stand back and stand by. Well, why would you tell them to stand back and stand by if you didn't even know who they were? Well, they knew what to do. They knew what that meant. So the people who know. And the people who don't know stand around saying, you think that was something? Yes, it was exactly what you thought it was. But my cousin, he wasn't calling me to talk about whether he thinks Elon Musk or Donald Trump are white supremacists, or whether it was a good or a bad idea to vote for Trump or anything. He was calling it to reaffirm why he voted for Trump. He says to me, I didn't vote for Trump because of any of that stuff anyway. I voted for him because the Democrats want to take away my guns. Here we go again with the guns. It always comes back to the guns. The people think us. Does he think that the Democrats, when they get elected, are just going to bust into his house and confiscate his guns? And even if they did, like, let's just say they did, what would you be undefensible against? The imaginary Antifa that's also going around busting in buildings and taking guns. Like, I don't understand what the fear is. And I said this to him, I don't know what you're afraid of. He's like, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just trying to be prepared. All right. I mean, you can be as prepared as you want. But I don't have that irrational fear that someone's going to come and take my guns or take something from me. Right? Things happen in our society. We live in a violent society. But that's just part of living in our society. And there is no way that, in my opinion, I think that I can never be prepared for whatever the circumstance may be. So there's not enough training, there's not enough time, there's not enough thoughts in my brain to even put it together. I have weapons to defend myself. Hopefully I never have to use them. But there's no way that I'm fighting and arguing or choosing an authoritarian because I believe that someone else is going to come take my guns. It makes no sense to me. So, I just said, the whole thing about the guns is a marketing plan by the NRA. They've been doing this for decades now. It isn't for years, or it's decades they've been doing this. Most people are trying to figure out, how to protect themselves against a violent shooter coming into schools. But your only concern is being able to have access to get more guns that they would use to shoot in schools. Now, I would say that I fall somewhere in the middle because I don't think that we should say you can't have guns, but they certainly should be regulated. So there's certain guns we probably don't need. Now, if that falls upon something that you love, that particular gun, I guess that's a different type of discussion, and we can talk about why that gun in particular needs to be stopped. I don't think there's any one gun that can be stopped to solve all the problems, but there's probably something we can usher toward that we don't need these category. But here's the kicker with my cousin. While he's worried about the imaginary Democrats breaking into his gun safe, Trump's over here dropping executive orders like mixtapes. Day one, he steps in, right? And he says, hey, you know what, those civil rights that you got? Yeah, we need to figure out ways to not protect the people that needed the civil rights protections, but to protect the people who the civil rights protections were made to enforce them against. So white men in America, now civil rights protections are actually just for you. Because if anyone uses race in any kind of a way to hire or promote, they've just done the thing that the Civil Rights Act was created to help in order to generate equity and equality is now in opposition. But the best thing that Trump did was he pardoned 1,500 people convicted of violent acts during the January 6th insurrection. Like the insurrection, you could believe it was real or not real. I watched it. I saw the videos. I saw it. I saw it myself. I saw it with my own eyes. It was real. Well, the people who did those acts, and you can look them up for yourself. If you don't believe it, you can type in the people's name and you can watch the videos of stuff that they did violently on that day. They've been pardoned, all of them, every single one of them, full pardons. And guess who's at the top of the list? The QAnon shaman. You remember him, right? The QAnon shaman guy with the horns and the face paint, right? His lawyer calls him and says, hey, Trump pardoned you. And you know what the guy's first reaction was to getting pardoned from Trump? He's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go buy some guns. Genius. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. I don't know why he needs guns. I don't know what his deal is with the guns. But I know that whatever side he's on, I'm not on. And I don't even know what he's for and what he stands for. I don't agree with it. I'm against it. Should we even be surprised at this point that this is who the Republican Party is? This is who they voted for. There should be no surprise by anyone. This is what happened because He said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do it. But it doesn't stop, with the pardons of the QAnon shaman. Right? He pardoned the organizers, rioters, people who were literally caught on camera assaulting cops. And then, because Trump can't help himself, he gave a speech saying he's going after Nancy Pelosi next. Why is he going after Nancy Pelosi? Because according to him, she was in charge of security at the Capitol. So let's break this down one time, right? The Capitol Police fall under Congress, but the Speaker of the House doesn't run the day-to-day operations of the security of the Capitol. It's handled by the Capitol Police Board. Pelosi does not secure the Capitol, and she's not responsible for securing the Capitol. And if you really want to get down to the crux of it, of who's responsible for defending a federal building in America, you would have to start with the commander-in-chief, who is the president, who was sitting in a White House throwing ketchup at the wall. The number one thing that's happening here is incompetence. This is incompetence, but this is part of the authoritarian playbook. Trump's creating chaos, scapegoating his enemies, and enabling his base to do whatever the hell they want. Meanwhile, people like my cousin, they're out here saying, hey, I just don't want the Democrats to take my guns, of which the Democrats have not said they're going to take anyone's guns. Right? The Democrats are not taking your guns. They're not coming to your house. They're not going to come to your house. It's a lie. It's a lie that's been told for so long that it's difficult for me to even have the conversation about it anymore. And I told him when he called me, I said, listen, man, I don't talk to Trump supporters anymore because I don't think there's a way to get through to them, right? And if I just wanted to talk about facts, talking to a Trump supporter is not a person who you talk to. They don't necessarily want facts. He's living in a world of imagination because in his mind, the Democrats are going to come into his house, take his guns as soon as the election's over. He even tried to say, well, if I killed someone with my gun, I'm going to get arrested because I'm not supposed to have the gun. And I was like, if you kill someone with a gun, you're going to get arrested. Like, that's a period. It doesn't matter what gun you use or how you used it. You kill someone with a gun, you're going to get arrested. You're going to have to go to fucking jail, at least for a little while, right? You're going to have to explain why you did what you did. You don't get to kill someone and say, hey, this person was on our property. Well, we still got some more questions. But, the people who vote for one issue, you can't argue with that and you can't debate that, and it's their right. But if your issue is that you would like to vote for the authoritarian because he's going to allow you to keep your guns, shouldn't you be concerned that this person who's authoritarian, who makes all these decisions with the stroke of a pen, who pushes the limits of what the Constitution says and violates the law to where he's sued almost on a daily basis, that person might not strip your rights too once you become politically unviable for him? Like, it's almost insane to me that you would think that it's probably a better idea to go with the guy who, with the stroke of a pen, said, we're going to go kicking doors of churches and schools in order to find people who we believe to be illegal. And we don't care whether they're illegal or not. If they appear to be illegal, we'll detain them, we'll arrest them, we'll figure out who they are, and we'll get rid of them. We'll get them out of our country as quickly as possible. And yes, there will be some mistakes made. And yes, there will be some American citizens sent out the country. But that's what happens when you're trying to solve the problem of getting rid of the unwanted. This is what they said before he was elected. And the people voted for it because this is what they wanted. The people voted for it because this is what they wanted. So this is what we're going to get. So, I don't have a complaint. I say, hey, this is what they wanted. So this is what they're going to do. I'm going to just be aware of what's happening and stay in my lane. Because I think a lot of people are nuts. And I think that he's nuts. But here's the glib takeaway, right? Nancy Pelosi, 80-something-year-old Nancy Pelosi is not kicking in any doors. And you should have no fear of Nancy Pelosi. You should have concerns about a leader who pardons violent extremists, who undermines democracy and distracts you with fear while he consolidates power. And if you can't see that, maybe it's time to put down your AR-15 and pick up a history book. Nothing he's doing is unique. Nothing he's doing is new. If you look at any other place where there's been totalitarian and authoritarian rule, this is what's been done. I'm reading the book 1984 right now, right? Or well, actually, I just finished it last week, and the thing that really stood out to me was how in the book, the people in power would change history. They would just change it. They would say, this person was our ally. Now they are our enemy. So they would go back. They would change the news articles. They'll change the books. They'll change everything. So that way, the person who was an ally, who's now an enemy, was always the enemy. If there was a person who went against the government and the person got removed, they would get removed everywhere. They would no longer exist, wiped from existence. What's up, Mrs. G? And when I look at Donald Trump and what happened with January 6th, that's what he's doing now. He's wiping it from existence in a way that we can remember it for how it actually happened. And he's trying to turn it into, it was an attack on the Capitol from somebody else, and the people who did it, they had nothing to do with him. And he actually saved the day on that day. He's probably going to give himself some medals and awards for saving the day, as opposed to what really happened. He called the people down there to do what they did. Now the people who investigated the Capitol are under investigation. Now the people who were working to prevent the overthrow of the government are under investigation because Donald Trump says, and his administration, what's up, John Frank? His administration, that the problem wasn't the people who attacked. The problem was the people who investigated the attack. And if he writes the history, he can say those people did nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, let's get rid of all the videos of all the attacks. The White House website has already been changed. Like the day of the election, the day of the inauguration, the White House website took away the Spanish speaking page. It took away, there was a page about reproductive rights. Like those things, gone, removed. And there's more. There are more. Those are just two I can think of off the top of my head. And it's like, we have to be diligent and we have to pay attention, and we can't allow them to change the past and to change the present by gaslighting us. Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. But I appreciate you guys clicking on the play button. You haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. What do you think about Elon and his throwing of his heart? You think he was throwing a heart, or you think he was throwing up a Hail Hitler? I don't have to explain where I fall on it, but yeah, you won't see me driving a Tesla anytime soon.
So, hit that notification, hit that like button, and tune in with Adrian and Glib Talk. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's Glib. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's Glib. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in